A woman wakes up in Serbia. She turns on the television, but the image is upside down. So she flips the TV over, balances it on its top edge. Now it looks normal to her, because Bojana Danilovic has spent her entire life seeing everything inverted. Trees grow down from the sky. Rain falls upward. People walk on ceilings. This isn't imagination. This isn't drugs. Her brain processes the world completely upside down, and it always has. This is the story of people who see the world inverted. Some were born that way. Some became that way through injury. Some chose it deliberately, through science, through experiments, through glasses that flip reality. These people prove something profound, that what we see isn't what exists. It's what our brain decides to show us. And sometimes, the brain shows us everything backwards. Bojana Danilovic was born in 1985 in Užice, Serbia. From her first moments of life, her world was inverted. But she didn't know that. Nobody did. How could they? When you're an infant, you have no reference point. No way to know your perception is different. Bojana thought everyone saw the same thing. That upside down was simply how the world looked. That trees naturally grew downward. That people walked on ceilings. That gravity pulled the wrong direction. Her parents noticed something strange early. Bojana was born feet first. Breech birth. Already backwards from start. When she learned to crawl, she moved in reverse, pushing herself backward across the floor. When she started walking, she walked backward. Forward to her was backward to everyone else. Her mother had to take months off work to teach her, to train her, to make her walk the way other children walked. Even though to Bojana, it felt wrong, unnatural, reversed. Reading became impossible. Letters looked wrong. Words appeared inverted. Books made no sense. Her parents tried everything. Different teaching methods, different schools. Nothing worked until they discovered something remarkable. When they turned books upside down, Bojana could read perfectly. The inverted text looked normal to her. Correct. Readable. She learned to read that way. From bottom to top. Right side up appearing upside down. Upside down appearing right side up. School was torture. Teachers didn't understand. Students mocked her. She held books upside down. She wrote inverted. She saw the classroom ceiling as the floor. She couldn't explain. She didn't have words for it. She just knew her world was different. Wrong somehow. Backwards from everyone else's. But she survived. She adapted. She graduated. Against impossible odds. As an adult, Bojana got a job. Council worker in Užice Town Hall. She needed special accommodations. Her computer monitor was installed upside down. Her keyboard remained normal, but she typed while looking at an inverted screen. It worked. To her, the upside-down monitor showed everything correctly, normally, the way it should look. Her co-workers found it bizarre, disturbing, but Bojana performed her job perfectly. The inversion didn't impair her abilities, just made everything backward. At home, her family had two televisions, one normal, one balanced upside down on its top edge. Bojana watched hers. The family watched theirs, in the same room, simultaneously. Two TVs showing the same program, one right side up, one inverted. The family adapted. They accepted. They loved Bojana despite her strangeness. Or because of it. She was unique, special, different. In 2013, Bojana's case became international news. Doctors from Harvard University examined her. MIT scientists studied her brain. They found no structural damage, no lesions, no trauma. Her brain was anatomically normal, but functionally inverted. The visual processing areas worked perfectly. They just processed everything upside down. The doctors called it spatial orientation phenomenon, a neurological syndrome, extremely rare, perhaps unique. Bojana might be the only person on Earth with this exact condition. The doctors explained something crucial. Bojana's eyes work normally. They capture correct images. The retina receives accurate information. The problem occurs in processing. Her brain flips the image, rotates it 180 degrees. For reasons nobody understands. The neural pathways are wired differently, connected in reverse. From birth, permanently, irreversibly. Bojana can never get a driver's license. Driving requires split-second spatial judgments. Up is down is up, left is right is left. She would cause accidents instantly, kill herself, kill others. So she walks, takes buses, relies on others. Her inverted vision makes driving impossible, dangerous, lethal. But Bojana isn't the first person to see the world inverted. History contains other cases, more extreme cases, more tragic cases. In 1938, during the Spanish Civil War, a 25-year-old soldier was shot in the head. The bullet entered his skull, damaged his brain, but didn't kill him. He survived, against all odds. However, when he woke up, something was terribly wrong. The world was upside down. The soldier's name was Patient M. His real name lost to history, protected by medical privacy. He was treated by neurologist Justo Gonzalo. Gonzalo documented everything. Patient M saw the world inverted, but only when stationary. When he stood still, everything flipped. Trees hung from the sky, buildings balanced on their roofs. People walked on ceilings. But when he moved, the world corrected itself. Briefly, temporarily, movement made things normal. Stillness made things inverted. Worse, his other senses were affected. Touch was reversed. If someone touched his left hand, he felt it on his right. If they touched his head, he felt it on his feet. Sound came from wrong directions. Voices appeared behind him when people stood in front. His entire sensory system was scrambled, inverted, backwards. The bullet had rewired his brain, created impossible connections, broken reality itself. Patient M struggled for years. The inversion never fully resolved. He adapted somewhat, learned compensations, developed strategies, but he never saw normally again. The bullet stole his perception, gave him a backward world, an upside-down existence, until he died, decades later, having spent his life seeing what nobody else saw, living in a reality that existed only for him. Other cases exist. Stroke victims who temporarily see inverted, multiple sclerosis patients with vision flips, migraine sufferers who experience brief inversions. These cases are temporary, lasting hours or days. The brain eventually corrects itself, rewires the connections, restores normal vision. But for some, like Patient M, the inversion is permanent, irreversible, a lifelong curse. Then there are the experiments, the deliberate inversions, scientists who chose to see upside down, to study adaptation, to understand perception, to prove the brain can rewire itself, even in adults, even after decades of normal vision. In 1896, psychologist George Stratton performed the first inversion experiment. He was 31 years old, a professor at UC Berkeley. He built special glasses, lenses that flipped his vision upside down and left to right, complete inversion. He wore them constantly, for 8 days straight, covered his left eye with a patch, wore the inverting lens over his right, slept blindfolded to prevent normal vision. The first day was chaos. Stratton couldn't function. He couldn't walk without falling, couldn't grab objects, couldn't judge distances. His hand would reach up when he wanted to reach down. He would step left when he meant to step right. Everything was wrong, backwards, impossible. His brain screamed that reality was broken, that the world had gone insane. But by day 3, something changed. Stratton started adapting. His brain was learning, rewiring itself, creating new connections. By day 5, he could walk normally, could eat, could write. The upside-down world started feeling normal. Right, correct. His brain had accepted the inversion, had rebuilt perception around it. On day 8, Stratton removed the glasses and experienced something shocking. The normal world looked inverted. His brain had adapted so completely that regular vision seemed wrong. Backwards, upside down. It took hours for his perception to readjust, to return to baseline, to accept that up was up again, that down was down, that left was left. Stratton's experiment proved something revolutionary. Perception is learned, not innate, not hardwired. The brain builds our vision, constructs our reality, and it can rebuild it, reconstruct it, even in adulthood, even after years of normal seeing. The brain is plastic, adaptable, malleable beyond imagination. In the 1950s, Austrian scientists Theodor Erzman and Ivo Kohler repeated Stratton's experiments. But for longer, much longer, Kohler wore inverting goggles for weeks, then months. He adapted completely. He could ride a motorcycle through Innsbruck, navigate traffic, avoid obstacles, all while seeing everything upside down. His brain had rewired so thoroughly that inversion became normal, natural, effortless. When Kohler finally removed the goggles, his readjustment took days. His brain had committed to the inversion. had built neural pathways around it, had accepted upside down as reality. Normal vision felt alien, wrong, backwards. Eventually, his original wiring reasserted itself. But the transition was difficult, disorienting, proof that perception is more flexible than we imagine. These experiments answered an ancient question. Why do we see right side up? The eye projects an inverted image onto the retina. That's basic optics. Light passes through the lens, flips upside down, hits the retina inverted. Yet we see correctly. We see right side up. Why? For centuries, philosophers debated this. Some thought the eye must have special properties. Some thought the brain had correction mechanisms. Some thought God designed it that way. But the inversion experiments prove the truth. The brain doesn't correct anything. It just learns what it means. What out means. Based on experience. Based on interaction. Based on trial and error. When you're an infant, your brain receives inverted images. It doesn't know they're inverted. It just learns associations. Touch your feet. See low in the visual field. Touch your head. See high in the visual field. Reach up. Objects get closer in the upper field. The brain builds a model, a map, a system. That model defines up and down, defines normal, and that model can be rebuilt, relearned, even in adults. Bojana Danilovic's brain built a different model, an inverted model, from birth, for unknown reasons. Genetic factors perhaps, developmental anomalies, neural wiring variations. Her brain decided up was down was up, and committed to that model, permanently. She can't unlearn it, can't correct it, can't adapt to normal vision. Because to her, inverted vision is normal vision. Living with inverted vision requires constant adaptation. Bojana developed strategies. She learned to read upside down, to work with inverted monitors, to navigate a world that's backward to everyone else. She functions. She succeeds. She lives independently, despite seeing everything wrong, despite being the only person in her city, perhaps her country, perhaps the world, who sees the way she does. The most profound aspect of inversion cases is what they reveal about consciousness. We assume everyone sees the same thing. That red looks red to everyone. That up is up for everyone. That reality is objective, shared, universal. But inversion cases prove otherwise. Reality is constructed, individually, uniquely, by each person's brain. Bojana sees trees hanging from the sky. She sees people walking on ceilings. She sees rain falling upward. And to her, that's reality. That's truth. That's the world. It's not a hallucination, not a delusion, not a mistake. It's her genuine perception, her authentic experience, her actual reality. Different from yours, different from mine, but no less real, no less valid, no less true. The brain is not a camera. It's not recording reality. It's constructing reality, building it from sensory data, from expectations, from experience, from learning. And sometimes it builds something different, something inverted, something backwards, something unique. Bojana's brain built an upside-down world. Patient M's brain built a reversed world. Stratton's brain rebuilt an inverted world, then rebuilt it again, then rebuilt it back. These cases teach us humility. We think we see reality. We think our eyes show truth. We think perception is simple, just opening your eyes and seeing what's there. But it's not. Perception is complex, active, constructed. Your brain is constantly building your reality, constantly interpreting, constantly deciding what things mean. What direction is up? What orientation is normal? And sometimes, just sometimes, the brain builds something nobody else sees. Something upside down, something inverted, something backwards. And the person living with that perception must navigate a world designed for different eyes, different brains, different realities. They must read upside down, watch upside down televisions, work with inverted monitors, walk on what everyone calls the ceiling, live in a reality that exists for them alone. Bojana Danilovic still lives in Serbia, still works at the town hall, still watches her upside down television, still reads her inverted books. She's adapted. She's functional. She's normal, in her own way, by her own standards, in her own reality. The world is upside down, but only for her, only in her brain, only in her perception. To everyone else, everything is right side up, normal, correct. But Bojana knows the truth. That up and down are arbitrary. That orientation is learned. That reality is constructed, that what we see is not what exists, but what our brain chooses to show us. And her brain chose differently, chose inversion, chose backwards, chose upside down, and gave her a lifetime of seeing what nobody else sees, living what nobody else lives, experiencing a world that exists only in neural pathways, only in brain connections, only in the space between retina and consciousness, where reality is built, where perception is born, where up becomes down, and down becomes up, and everything inverts, forever.